Which of the following best describes an essential principle of adult learning theory? A. Adults prefer to learn in a structured, teacher-led environment. B. Adults are motivated by intrinsic factors, such as self-direction and practical relevance. C. Adults typically learn best through passive listening. D. Adults learn most effectively in a strictly controlled environment. 2. When evaluating the effectiveness of a curriculum, which method is considered the most comprehensive? A. Administering a standardized test to all participants. B. Analyzing participant feedback through surveys and interviews. C. Observing learners during class and taking notes. D. Comparing pre- and post-assessments of learner knowledge. 3. In the context of mentoring, which of the following actions is most appropriate when guiding an adult learner through a challenging concept? A. Provide detailed step-by-step instructions without room for independent thought. B. Ask open-ended questions that encourage critical thinking and reflection. C. Offer the correct answer immediately to reduce confusion. D. Allow the learner to struggle without offering any guidance. 4. Which strategy aligns best with the principle of learning by doing in adult education? A. Lecturing extensively on theory with little to no practical examples. B. Giving learners opportunities to apply new knowledge through role-playing or hands-on activities. C. Providing written material only for independent study. D. Assigning learners to research topics without practical engagement. 5. What is a key characteristic of a curriculum that adheres to the principles of adult learning? A. It is designed to be rigid, with fixed deadlines and minimal learner input. B. It is relevant to real-world situations and directly applicable to learners' personal and professional lives. C. It consists only of theoretical concepts, without practical applications. D. It is entirely focused on memorization and rote learning. 6. In adult learning, which of the following is most likely to improve learner engagement during the evaluation process? A. Utilizing complex technical jargon to assess learner knowledge. B. Using a variety of assessment types, e.g., quizzes, discussions, projects. C. Administering a single long-form exam at the end of the course. D. Limiting learner participation in assessments to just multiple-choice questions. 7. When considering mentoring strategies for adult learners, which approach would most likely enhance self-directed learning? A. Offering constant, detailed feedback on every decision the learner makes. B. Allowing learners to set their own learning goals and develop plans to achieve them. C. Giving learners the same lesson plan to follow without room for modification. D. Emphasizing the instructor's role as the sole source of knowledge. 8. Which of the following is a key feature of regulatory compliance within adult education settings? A. Ensuring that all learners are provided with the same resources, regardless of need. B. Adhering to relevant laws, regulations, and institutional policies related to adult education. C. Ignoring any external regulations if they do not align with the curriculum. D. Creating lesson plans that focus solely on personal opinions and preferences. 9. Which is the most effective method for providing constructive feedback during the evaluation of adult learners? A. Criticizing all mistakes without offering alternative strategies. B. Offering specific, actionable feedback that encourages further learning. C. Focusing only on what the learner did wrong to ensure improvement. D. Giving praise without any recommendations for improvement. 10. In the process of curriculum development for adult learners, which element is crucial to ensure accessibility? A. Designing all lessons to be text-heavy with minimal multimedia elements. B. Offering diverse learning materials, including visual aids, written text, and hands-on activities. C. Using only online resources for delivering the curriculum. D. Ensuring that all lessons are identical for every learner without room for adaptation. 11. Which of the following best demonstrates effective communication in adult education? A. Speaking at length without allowing for any learner interaction. B. Using clear, concise language that is easily understood by the learners. C. Speaking in technical terms that may be unfamiliar to the learner group. D. Giving one-way lectures with no opportunities for learner feedback. 12. In adult education, what role does self-assessment play in the learning process? A. It helps learners understand their own progress and identify areas for improvement. B. It should be used to judge the competence of the instructor. C. It is not necessary, as evaluations should be entirely instructor-led. D. It only serves as a tool for grading learners. 13. Which method of evaluation is most aligned with adult learning principles and promotes active learner involvement? A. Written exams only, focused on memorization and recall. B. Peer assessments where learners evaluate each other's progress. C. Instructor-driven assessments with little learner input. D. The use of quizzes and tests exclusively for grade determination. 14. How should adult learners be involved in the curriculum development process? A. They should have no involvement, as curriculum development is strictly the instructor's responsibility. B. Learners should have input on the topics, goals, and methods used in the course. C. Learners should only follow predetermined content without any opportunity for feedback. D. Learners should be required to create the entire curriculum themselves. 15. In mentoring adult learners, which of the following strategies is most likely to encourage a positive learning relationship? A. Offering a one-size-fits-all approach to mentoring, regardless of the learner's needs. B. Building a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding of the learner's goals. C. Focusing on completing assignments quickly with little reflection. D. Minimizing feedback to avoid overwhelming the learner. 16. What is the primary focus of evaluation in adult education? A. To test how well learners can memorize and recall information. B. To assess learners' ability to apply what they've learned in real-world scenarios. C. To determine how quickly learners can complete tasks. D. To judge learners based solely on their test scores. 17. In the context of adult learning, which approach is most effective for fostering critical thinking? A. Giving learners predetermined answers to complex problems. B. Encouraging learners to question assumptions and explore various perspectives. C. Limiting learners to one correct answer without room for exploration. D. Presenting material without encouraging any form of discussion. 18. What is the role of feedback in a mentor-mentee relationship for adult learners? A. It serves as the primary method of instruction with little room for interaction. B. It helps learners reflect on their progress and make necessary adjustments to their learning approach. C. It should only focus on weaknesses without any recognition of strengths. D. It should be given sparingly to avoid overwhelming the learner. 19. Which of the following is a key consideration when developing a curriculum that meets adult learners' diverse needs? A. Designing a uniform curriculum without considering learner differences. B. Tailoring the curriculum to accommodate different learning styles and needs. C. Focusing solely on academic achievement, ignoring practical life skills. D. Limiting the curriculum to just theoretical content without real-world applications. 20. Which evaluation method best promotes learner reflection and deeper learning in an adult education setting? A. Relying solely on quantitative assessments like multiple-choice tests. B. Incorporating reflective journals and self-assessment exercises. C. Focusing only on instructor-led evaluations. D. Using tests and exams as the only means of assessment. 21. How can regulatory compliance be integrated into the curriculum development process for adult education? A. Ignoring legal requirements and creating a curriculum based solely on the instructor's preferences. B. Ensuring that the curriculum aligns with applicable laws, regulations, and accreditation standards. C. Designing curriculum without regard for any external compliance requirements. D. Making curriculum changes only when compliance issues arise. 22. Which of the following is an essential aspect of mentoring that fosters independence in adult learners? A. Offering continuous guidance on every minor decision the learner makes. B. Encouraging learners to seek out their own solutions and develop self-reliance. C. Providing the answers without letting the learner struggle. D. Focusing only on correcting errors without allowing for learner input. 23. What is a common pitfall in adult education evaluation that can hinder learning progress? A. Including a variety of assessment tools to gather comprehensive feedback. B. Focusing too much on summative evaluations without providing formative assessments. C. Using both qualitative and quantitative data to assess learning outcomes. D. Providing consistent feedback and opportunities for improvement. 24. In developing a curriculum for adult learners, which of the following is most important for engaging learners effectively? A. Creating a curriculum that follows a rigid, step-by-step structure without room for flexibility. B. Incorporating topics and content that are relevant and meaningful to the learner's life experiences. C. Designing curriculum that excludes any learner input or feedback. D. Focusing only on academic content and neglecting the practical aspects of learning. 25. How can adult learning principles be applied to improve communication during the teaching process? A. By avoiding any form of learner feedback and focusing solely on delivering information. B. By facilitating two-way communication, where learners can ask questions and express concerns. C. By using complex terminology to challenge learners' vocabulary. A. By providing information in a monologue format, without any interactive components. 26. When mentoring adult learners, which approach fosters the most effective learning outcomes? A. Providing rigid prescriptive instructions with no room for flexibility. B. Fostering an open environment where learners feel encouraged to express their ideas and challenges. C. Focusing on passive learning without any interaction or feedback. D. Emphasizing strict compliance with the instructor's expectations without allowing learner input. 27. In adult education, which of the following is an effective way to ensure learners are compliant with regulatory standards? A. Regularly updating course materials to reflect changes in industry regulations. B. Allowing learners to create their own interpretation of compliance standards. C. Ignoring regulatory changes as long as the curriculum remains popular. D. Keeping all regulatory content at a minimal level to avoid overwhelming learners. 28. Which of the following mentoring techniques is most likely to increase learner motivation in adult education? A. Assigning tasks without considering the learner's interests or strengths. B. Providing consistent encouragement and recognition of learner progress. C. Focusing only on the learner's mistakes and areas for improvement. D. Limiting communication to avoid unnecessary interaction. 29. How can adult learners benefit from the use of formative assessments? A. They help identify strengths and weaknesses during the learning process, allowing for timely adjustments. B. They provide a final measure of a learner's abilities after the course is completed. C. They are irrelevant because they do not contribute to grading or certification. D. They only serve as a way to rank learners against each other. 30. In evaluating a learner's progress, what is an effective approach for promoting growth in adult learners? A. Using only high-stakes exams to measure success. B. Providing regular, constructive feedback and opportunities for self-reflection. C. Ignoring learner progress in favor of standardized assessments. D. Only assessing learners at the end of the course to determine their abilities. 31. What is the most effective method for incorporating regulatory compliance into an adult education curriculum? A. Providing learners with a general overview of regulations without specific examples. B. Embedding relevant compliance standards within the context of the course material using real-world scenarios. C. Focusing solely on the technical aspects of the regulations without context. D. Allowing learners to choose whether they want to engage with regulatory content. 32. How does adult learning theory inform the design of assessments in adult education? A. It emphasizes assessments that focus on memorization and recall. B. It supports assessments that engage learners in practical applications of knowledge and skills. C. It encourages assessments that focus solely on individual achievement. D. It disregards the importance of assessments altogether in favor of personal learning experiences. 33. Which method of communication is most effective in adult education settings? A. One-way communication where the instructor does all the talking. B. Two-way communication that encourages both the instructor and learners to actively engage in dialogue. C. Avoiding questions and interaction to maintain focus on delivering content. D. Solely relying on written communication to ensure clarity and avoid confusion.